Hi, so today I'm going to show you how to assemble the Santa Claus ornament. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the white parts of the Santa Claus. So it's going to be his mustache, his beard, the brim of his hat, the little puffball, and then parts of his hair. The rest of it is going to be his nose and then his face. That's going to be like a flesh color. And then we have his hat. And then this is going to be the underneath part of his hat. That's kind of like the outline that goes underneath. So I'm going to do that part black. So I have all my colors ready to go. So I'm going to start with my white. So I'm going to grab some white chalk paint. And this is chalk paint that I picked up at Michael's. It's just the Craft Smart chalk paint. So nothing exciting. I'm just going to use this today. I kind of like this over some of the other brands just because I feel like it covers a little bit better in like one coat. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab it right from the cap, and I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna get a bigger brush because I have a bigger space. So I'm gonna grab like a brush like this. This is just Michael's brushes, nothing exciting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just pick up some paint, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start painting his beard. Grab some more paint, and I'm just gonna work from the middle and work my way out. I'm just gonna move these pieces out of the way so I don't accidentally get paint on them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get all this. And you don't have to get the mustache part perfect because you're going to be covering that up with the mustache. There's another option for the mustache if you don't want to do so many layers. There's one where the nose kind of pieces right into the mustache, and that's another option. So I have that in the file if you'd rather do it that way. So just a couple different ways to do it so you're not kind of locked into the one way. So some people like to have the nose sitting flat so it's not like another layer. So I just like his nose popping out a little bit more. I like that extra little pop. I think it looks cute like that. But if you prefer it not to, there's that option. So I'm just giving this one last good layer. I might have to come back to this. White, I always feel like kind of just absorbs right into that MDF. So you might have to come back and give that another layer, but I'm gonna let that dry. All right, so I'm gonna just try to get those brush strokes out. I'm gonna set that off to the side. Come over here to his mustache, do the same thing. And you can also use makeup sponges for this too. It's up to you how you wanna do it. I do have makeup sponges, but I thought I'd just do this real quick with my brushes. And I think I'm gonna do this in a farmhouse style. I think I might distress this and add a little bit of texture with my art crayons, maybe some of my ink pads, those distressing inks. And those are from Tim Holtz. You can get those at Michael's. Same with the art crayons. Those are a lot of fun to use just to give it a little extra. Because there's a lot of white on this. I didn't want to have it too much white. You want to kind of break up those layers. So there's his mustache. I'll set that off to the side. Here's his little brim of his little Santa hat. There we go. And I made this file last year. I just never got around to finishing it. It was getting towards the end of the season. I didn't want to put anything more out. And I wasn't sure. I kind of wasn't sure about this file last year, where to end it. I was going to do like the whole body, but I just like his head. So for the ornament, I think it's cute with just his head. I might go back and make the whole body. I had kind of a body started and I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but time ran out on me last year. So hopefully I'm starting early enough this year that I can get more Christmas files done. All right, there we are. There's his little hat brim, and there's his little puff ball. And chalk paint dries so fast, which is so nice. So there we are. Oh, got a little bit on my nail. Just dry that right off. There we go. And that's it. Set that over here. And this is his hair. This is the hair on the sides of his head. I'm just gonna go ahead and just lightly dust that. There we go. And then this is here too. This will be on the right-hand side of his head. It's a nice day out, so I'm just out in my garage with the door up, so you might hear some traffic going by. I do live in a residential neighborhood, but there's a lot of traffic that seems to go through here, so I apologize if you hear a lot of traffic going through. All right, so there's his little hair pieces. You don't have to add these pieces if you don't want to. It's really up to you if you want to just have it just be his head, and then you can paint the back layer if you want with his hair. So however you want to do it, make this your own. Be creative however you want to do it. You're not locked into how I do it, and paint it however you want. I love seeing how people do it. I love all the ways people paint my stuff. I just think it's super cool. And please share in my Facebook group. I love when people share and I get to see all the different ways people finish my files. It's so cool. Okay, so for the flesh tone, I'm using like this cream color, and this is from Farmhouse Paint Company. So this is more for furniture, but it's nice. Do need a few coats of this. I have tried this before. I do feel like you need a little bit of extra. So I'm gonna use a small brush. And this one I think is giving me a hard time trying to get the cap off. I'll have to give it to my friend to get that cap off. Well, I'm gonna have her get that for me. It's stuck, isn't it?
I'm gonna spill it.
Might have to get a jar opener for that one.
Where's that thing?
I have to get a jar opener. Sometimes I don't clean my jars properly and they get stuck. So we're gonna move on while she's grabbing that. We're gonna skip these for a second. We're gonna go on to red. So this is Dixie Belle, and this is called Silk. I think this is Dixie Belle. This is called Silk, and it's called Fiery Sky. And this is brand new. I haven't tried it yet. Okay. Here we are. So this is brand new. I got this when I was on vacation, and the lady said it's great for ornaments. So I'm gonna just save this brush for when we can get the other bottle open. All right, so I'm gonna save this and use this brush. So I'm gonna just dip it right in there. And this covers really well because I used one of the other shades for another project, and this is really good. It only takes one coat, I feel like, from the last one I used. It was really thick. So this is called Silk. I think it's more of a mineral paint, but I really like this. I picked it up at a little antique shop in South Carolina, but I'm sure you could find this if you Google it. It's called Silk. And you can see how nice that covers. It's a great red for Christmas ornaments. There it is. Oh, there's my blue jays back. They like to come and chat with me. There we go. So there's our red. And then I do need black. I'm gonna just put this aside for now. I'm gonna put the cap back on. All right. I guess we can't get the cap off on that tan color. We'll have to pick a different color. Unfortunately, that is like glued on, so this is not gonna come off. So we're gonna have to get a jar opener and somehow manage to pry that cap off. We'll have to pick a different color for the for that. I'll just pick another shade. You want to find me another shade, another cream color while I'm doing this black? I have a friend here helping me since I'm recovering from surgery. So I'm gonna grab this color here. It's Raven. I'm gonna do this part black. All right, so that's just an example of why you have to really clean your jars really well, otherwise they will seal shut on you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna save this brush for this here. I'm gonna save this here. Okay, I'm gonna grab a brush for my black, and I'm just gonna kind of you only really need to do around the edges because those are the only parts that are going to show. Just here. There we go. There we are. So we're gonna just paint these edges. So you don't have to do this whole thing. There we go. And we do have to paint the little hook piece. Oops. Right here, I'm gonna just put a little bit of black on this, where you're gonna see where you're gonna put your ribbon here. So I'm gonna paint that. There we are. All right, and let's see if she's found us another cream color yet.
All I have is Adirondack white.
You can't do white on white because
No.
we need a cream color. So,
I'm looking at it. See if you see one that I couldn't see.
oh, I got it. I got the jar open.
Oh, you did?
All right,
Yeah, I
got
got
that
it.
cream color open.
I loosened it for you.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this little nose painted. So lesson, always clean your paints before you put the caps on. So I'm gonna do his little nose here. There's his nose. And I'm gonna just set this down to dry. Now this part here, because this is engraved, you gotta be very careful not to get the paint in the engrave. So I have this other brush over to the side that I saved. So I'm gonna be very careful when I paint this. So I'm gonna just kind of get some paint on here. I'm gonna tap off the paint, and I'm gonna be very, very careful not to get the paint in the engrave. Okay, so be very, very careful. So I'm gonna go very lightly over the part where his little eyes are engraved. So make sure you set the eyes to engrave. I did put that in the file, so you'd have to delete that part when you go to cut. So I'm just gonna be very, very careful when I get to his eyes. I'm getting paint on my nails. There we are. A little too much paint on there, so I'm just gonna rub gently. And then I'm gonna go back. There we are. And you paint the rest. There we are. I just want to make sure I really get those pieces. And I'm gonna have to do another coat because this paint requires at least 2 coats. You can see there's a lot of streaks. You can see that there's kind of streaky. So I'm gonna add another coat to that. But you can see his little eyes there. I'm just gonna get that piece in between. So just be very, very careful when you paint around where his eyes are. You won't get any paint in the engrave. There we are. Very, very careful. There we go. There's little eyes. All right. Okay. And I think we're ready to come back to our white. And I'm going to put the cap on this. I'm going to wash the top of this paint before I forget so it doesn't get glued again. All right. And I'm going to put my black away. So black, just right, any black chalk paint will do. This one just happens to be Vintage Market Raven, but you can really do any black chalk paint for that. And I'm gonna come back and I wanna check on my white, make sure that there's enough coats on this. and I feel like that needs definitely another coat. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna get some more white paint. So I'm gonna just grab some paint. I don't wanna put too much white paint on just yet. I just wanna really get it on there. And if you wanna go grab the black chalk paint or the black crayon for me. My friend's here helping me out because I can't. I'm non-mobile. I can't walk yet because I just had a knee replacement. So I'm getting some help from my friend here. So she's handed me all my supplies. Here we are. And when you're happy with how many coats you have on there, you are all good to go. All right. And this is just like that white chalk paint that we talked about. You can get that at Michael's. It's just the Craft Smart kind. There we go. I feel like I took some of it off when I put that extra coat on. There we go. There's one open already.
I didn't see it.
All right, here we go. Okay, give his mustache another coat. There we are. Okay.
Oh.
All right, and we have our black chalk crayon or art crayon. All right. So we're just gonna kind of outline these with that black art crayon. All right. There we are. I'm gonna make that real nice and white. There it is. I just want to grab a little bit more paint on each of these pieces. Some colors cover in one coat and some require 2 or 3 coats. All right, white always seems to feel like you need at least 2. That red covered really nicely. Even from the same brand, I just feel like some shades just don't cover as well as others. There we are. And normally if I'm not videoing and not talking, I can paint these much faster. But for the sake of the video, I just want to kind of talk you through it. All right, so there we have it. And here's our little beard again. I feel like I still want to add more coats to this beard. I can still see a lot of the brush strokes. There we go. There we are. Remember, you don't have to paint the top of the beard because that's where the mustache is going to cover it up. All right. There we go. Okay, so there's our Santa Claus, and this is our back piece that we're gonna glue everything to. So, and I'm gonna go back, I think I'm gonna start right here with his beard. So you see it's gonna go right there. And I'm gonna give it a little bit of our crayon. I'll let that dry for another second because that's still a little wet. This one's dry, so I'm just gonna add a little bit to the edges, just a little bit, and I'm just gonna blend it in. Kind of make it look like it's fuzzy. And it's okay if you get it on the top too. Just adds to the fuzziness of his little hat. There we go. Just kind of stress it a little bit. fun. There we are. Just creates that look like it's fuzzy, like you can see those little dots on there, like it's distressed. There we are. And his little puff ball. Just add a little bit of that around the edge. I just blend it out with my thumb. There we are. His little puff ball. And just a little bit distressed. There we go. And there's his mustache. And I really want that mustache to really pop from where his beard is. I really want to make sure I get that edge. And then I'm going to just blend it out with my thumb. There we are. It kind of creates like a little shadow effect. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to blend it out. There we go. And we're going to put all the extra that you have on your bottom of your thumb. You're just going to kind of blend it on the top because you don't want to put too much on there. Just enough. There we go. Remember, you're going to glue his little nose right there on top, so you don't have to worry so much about that part. So there it is, and you're going to really see that pop. You can see that piece pop. And if you have any of the paint on the bottom, you can use that. Because I got a little bit of the paint on the back side, I can blend that right out with the crayon. There we go. And you can see how that's going to look. Actually got a little bit over there too. I'm just going to blend it out with my crayon. That's what's great about the crayon. It kind of fixes any spots you might have gotten along the edges. There we are. Fix all that. That's pretty awesome. I love these art crayons. They're so much fun. All right. And if you get a little bit on the sides, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So there's his little mustache. It's going to go just like that. All right. Now this is dried up a little bit more. I'm going to add just a little bit along the edges and just blend it out. Just blend it out. There we go. Do the same thing on the sides. Over here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just enough. Do as much as you want to do. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's however you want to do it. Look, I can just rub it alongside with my thumb. Kind of even creates like it's a hair look. Look at that. You just found those little brush strokes. Look at that. That looks really neat. I love that. All right. Cool. And we're going to put that right on there. And we'll put this little mustache. I want to put a little bit more on there as mustache. I'm going to add a little bit more. Make it all kind of uniform. There. I kind of want to put a little bit more on the edges of his mustache. Look at that. Fun. There we go. It's very relaxing. Okay. There we are. Look at that. So fun. There's this little mustache. Okay. We're going to do the same thing again with his hair. And a little bit. A little bit on the sides. Kind of makes it like his hair is real. There we go. There. That's all you need. Just a little bit. You can fix where you got any paint on the sides too. There we go. Blend that all in. Very neat. Okay, there's one side. I still have a lot of extra on my thumb from blending. I'm just going to use a little bit what's left over on my thumb. You can use a makeup sponge too for this. You don't have to use your fingers. I just feel like I have more control on my fingers when I do this. Look at that. There. I'm going to just even put a little bit more on this little puff ball. All right. You can even do that on his hat too. Just add a little bit. There it is. Just a little bit on the edges. There we go. You can put a little bit of glitter if you want on his hat. It's really how you want to do it. Look at that. Very fun. Maybe a little bit right here too. Make it like it's a shadow because it's supposed to be like a crease in his hat right there. And that's why you paint it black on that other part of his hat there that you glue on, that you glue this piece over. Blech. All right, there we are. I think I'm all good. I don't want to do his face too much. You know what I might do? I might take a paint pen and fill those eyeballs in a little bit. So I'm gonna grab a paint pen. I have those Sharpie pens. Of course, there's not a black one in there. Well, I think the big ones do. Whoops, flinging them. There is a black one in the big one. This is black. I do. This is one of these Sharpie paint. They're like paint markers. These are fun. I'm gonna just go ahead and just kind of fill in his eyes. I wish I had these in the smaller ones, but that's okay. Just gonna fill these in a little bit more. There we are. If you can see that, just kind of fill them in a little bit with the Sharpie paint markers. There you go. So there's his eyes. Fun. Just want to make sure you can see that. All right. There we are. That's it. Okay, there's his eyes. Now you can really see them pop a little bit more. I don't think I set my engrave dark enough. Okay, so there's his face. So his face I'm gonna zoom in so you can see this a little better. So you can see his little face. You're gonna put this together just like this. There's his little face. And there's his little hair. I'm gonna show you how it assembles. So you have his little hair that goes right alongside. Sorry, I got nails here. Makes it tough. There's his hair. And then you have his hair on the other side. And if you feel you put too much distressing in that, you can go back and add more white chalk paint if you want. There's his little face. Okay. And then you have this piece here. This is that big giant piece of his hat, and that's gonna fit snugly right in there. It's kind of like a puzzle piece. And you're gonna just line it right up to that back piece, just like that. And then you have his little brim of his hat. I'm gonna put right on top. Then you're gonna do the same thing with the red. Take that little piece there. Fits just like that. And you can see that line of that little black line shows. So you definitely want to paint that piece. And then there's his little puff ball. Make sure you line that up. There's his puff ball. And then there's his mustache. And line that right up. Just like that. And there's his little nose. And if you want to give him little rosy cheeks, you can add a little bit of pink on his cheeks too. And that's all there is to this little guy. I hope you like him. I'm going to move him out to the camera. Zoom out a little bit so you can see him. And that's all he is. I hope you like him. He's a lot of fun. And I'm going to try to move him up there a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and glue him. And I got to push that little nose right up to the top. There we go. I hope you like him. And I'm going to go ahead and glue him with Loctite super glue. And he's so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy him. All right, and if you want to, you can go ahead and add any names on the beard. You can engrave names. You can put like 2024 on there. Anything you want to put on there. You put a little phrase like Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or whatnot. It's really up to you how you want to do it. All right, thanks for hanging out. Bye.